Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. A lot of people think doing good things always brings good results, or at least won't backfire. But is that real true? Japanese author Kei Higashino tells a story about this in his novel, Malice.
A famous novelist, Mr. A, was found murdered at home. The killer struck him with a paperweight and strangled him with a phone cord. Shockingly, the murderer was his childhood friend, Mr. B, who admitted the act but refused to explain why. Detective C investigated B's house and found 8 thick notebooks, several tapes, and 2 stacks of manuscript paper expressions. Forensics revealed that these manuscripts closely matched A's published novels. Suspicion arose. Could B have been A's ghostwriter? B denied it. However, investigators also found a woman's apron, a photo, and a travel plan belonging to A's ex-wife, Miss Dead, who died in a car accident 5 years earlier. Meanwhile, A had remarried and was preparing to emigrate to Canada with his new wife. Their luggage had already been shipped, but A's murder led to its return. Among the items were a knife with B's fingerprints and a videotape hidden in one of A's novels. The novel described a wife conspiring with her lover to kill her husband. The videotape showed B, 7 years earlier, sneaking into A's house with a knife. The combination of items, the manuscript, and the tape suggested a connection. Under pressure, B began to confess. B explained that he and A grew up together, sharing the same neighborhood, schools, and the dream of becoming writers. Fate diverged. A became a celebrated author, while B became a schoolteacher. Years later, B sought advice on his writing from A, facing his own creative slump, initially engaged with B, promising to consider his manuscript. But A delayed and eventually dismissed B's work as good in concept but small in scope, subtly implying B lacked talent. During the period, B began visiting A's home frequently and became involved with A's wife, Mi RSC. She confided that A secretly envied B's creativity. He read B's works carefully but refused to help him publish, wanting to keep B under his control. This fueled B's resentment. When A discovered the affair and C threatened to end it, B's anger escalated to murderous intent. Bide, concerned for B, spiked A's dinner with sleeping pills. But A had anticipated betrayal and secretly recorded incriminating video evidence. Using this, he forced B into ghostwriting, producing popular novels over many years. After C's death, later revealed to be suicide, A remarried and prepared to move abroad, promising to return the incriminating tape to B so he could work freely in children's literature. But shortly before departure, A changed his mind, prompting B to murder him. The case shocked the public. A's fame made the story viral. Online opinion condemned him as a manipulative plagiarist, while sympathy flowed to B, temporarily overshadowing the fact he was a murderer. Herman followed A's new wife and family. A man even claims to be B's uncle and demands that A's widow return ghostwriting payments. But after further investigation, Officer D found 2 inconsistencies. First, A had written a novel about school bullying based on personal experience, in which he was the victim. If B had been the true author, then where was B? Who was A's classmate and childhood friend at the time in that story? If B was the bullied victim, then where was A? The novel included neither, yet A and B were clearly classmates and close companions during that period. Second, B's hands bore old calluses from long-term handwriting. Even though he had been using computers for many years, those calluses should have faded. Moreover, according to B's own story, he became A's ghostwriter because I blackmailed him using the affair with C. But if C died years ago, why would B continue writing multiple works for A afterward? Officer D interviewed their former classmates, including those involved in bullying. The truth began to unravel. In reality, both A and B had been bullied. A, who had a strong temper and refused to bow his head, suffered greatly. But B later switched sides and took part in bullying. This explains why B was absent from the bullying novel. A intentionally omitted the accomplice out of lingering sentiment. Neighbors reported that A had always been kind and considerate, while B was withdrawn and unfriendly. A grew up helping B, waiting for him, protecting him from danger. Even after becoming famous, A didn't hold past grudges. He helped B by connecting him with resources and contacts. A had been B's benefactor. B had no reason to hate him, except jealousy. Jealousy of A's success, kindness, and happy family. B had planned the murder a year in advance. Using the excuse of helping organize C's belongings, he stole her photograph and apron. When A was away at a social event, B staged the incriminating videotape. He copied A's menu parts beforehand. While helping A pack for his overseas move, he hid the knife and videotape inside the luggage. He chose that particular novel deliberately. In truth, he never had an affair with A's wife C. All those heartfelt confessions, love, longing, guilt, were his own fabrication. B's talent was not writing but acting. Before his arrest, B did something even more chilling. He wrote in his diary that A had poisoned the neighbor's cat. A was about to move abroad, yet supposedly committed such cruelty. This pre-planted a false image of A as a vicious man in the minds of Officer D and anyone who read the diary. And, in reality, B had killed the cat, exploiting the fact that A had once complained about it in his writing. This small entry misled the investigation from the very beginning. By refusing to state his motive, they further guided police into drawing wrong conclusions. If his plan had succeeded, he would not only have killed A, but also destroyed his reputation, burned his works, and earned public sympathy as a tragic figure. Why would he risk everything for such a scheme? Because B had cancer and was already dying.
Some people think Higashino wants to show that the malice can have no root, that some people are just malicious for no reason. I don't quite agree. At least in this story, I think the motive comes from jealousy. The book says it clearly. B is jealous of A's talent, jealous of his happy family. To a jealous person, your talent looks like showing off, and your help looks like charity. Too much more kindness can actually become a breeding ground for malice. And why does this happen? It's related to a psychological concept called recipient's hostility. It means when someone receives help, instead of being grateful, he might feel resentment, anger, or even attack the person who helped him. Not appreciating help and even being picky. You didn't do enough. Denying for belittling the help. I could have done it myself. Blaming the helper for failure or frustrations. Emotional attacks, silent treatment, or turning against you. Betraying you in a relationship. But why does it happen? Some common reasons are: 1. Getting help is equivalent to admitting I can't do it, then hurts self-esteem, then triggers hostility. 2. Needs your help becomes dependent. Dependence brings shame. Shame turns into anger. 3. They feel weaker, unconsciously feel you are above them. Use hostility to balance. 4. They project their failure, incompetence, anger onto you. Bottom line is not that you helped wrong, it's that you can't handle being helped. So did Mr. A help Mr. B in the story? Absolutely. B was already insecure and withdrawn in elementary school. A walked him to school every day, put him out of isolation, and always stayed his friend. Later, A became a best-selling author and even helped B get connections in publishing. There is a Chinese saying, great kindness can turn into great enmity. Over helping can turn a benefactor into an enemy. Don't think this only happens in novels. Even celebrities experience it. When J.K. Rowling got attacked online for standing by her view on biological sex, the 3 young Harry Potter actors didn't stand by her. They even piled down. And it's not just celebrities.
One day after school, my daughter came home feeling down. I asked her what was wrong. She said, "Mom, my best friend May's parents died in a car accident last week. She's really sad and hasn't been to school for several days. I want to help her." I asked, "How do you want to help her?" After thinking for a moment, my daughter said, "Mom, can May stay with us for the summer? She doesn't have a mom anymore. It's so sad." Of course, I had no problem with it. But we needed the approval of May's relatives. At that time, May was emotionally very low and staying with her grandparents, who had just suffered the loss of a child themselves and didn't have the energy to care for her. So my daughter, who was in the first year of middle school, and May ended up sharing a room. From that point on, the two became inseparable, like sisters. With my daughter's companionship, May gradually began to open up and become more cheerful. When summer vacation ended, May didn't seem to want to leave, so she stayed with us. I took care of the two girls as if they were both my own daughters. If my daughter had something, I would buy the same for May. Public school education was free, and I covered all of May's living expenses, without ever asking her relatives for a single cent. Of course, since she had living relatives, we never went through formal adoption. And so May lived in our home for 6 years. I treated her like my own child. Every year on her birthday, I bought her a cake and gave her gifts. Finally, after the college entrance exams, we planned to hold a celebration for both May and my daughter. I had already sent invitations to friends and relatives and booked the hotel. While I was worrying about how to cover both girls' college expenses, I didn't notice that May had secretly moved out while no one was home. She didn't tell me beforehand. When I tried to contact her, I discovered that she had blocked both me and my daughter on WeChat and by phone. I was completely stunned. I hurriedly asked my daughter if she had fought with May, and she said no. Eventually, through one of May's other classmates, I saw a post May had made on WeChat, finally free from suffering, leaving that cold place behind. My daughter and I broke down in tears, realizing that all those years of companionship and effort had been for nothing. For a long time, I couldn't shake off the shadow this incident cast over me. Even today, thinking about it still feels unbearably painful, like swallowing a fly.
Carl Jung said, "Your kindness can trigger hatred. It acts like a mirror, showing people what they lack, flaws, failures, dark impulse, and the way they restore balance. by putting you down. So how can we protect ourselves? Set boundaries. Never let anyone invade your private life in the name of friendship. Not everyone deserves your help. Check if help is really needed, set limits, and don't overgive. That's the story. Have you ever experienced this? I have, and I'll make a whole video later about how a friend I once helped ended up betraying me. Alright, that's it for today. See you next time.